Good morning. I hope this works. So I go. So it's almost impossible task, Charles, to have a speech after you, but I will try my best. It won't be that poetic. It will be a little bit more pragmatic, and I will demonstrate a little bit of that creative bureaucracy. Well, I was introduced as a head of representation in Bratislava, and obviously that post has nothing to do with culture, but just to explain that I had several positions in the European Commission, and one of them was for many years the Director for Culture and Media. And I will tell you a little bit of what we did and how it is linked to Veszprém and to other activities we are having right now. Well, I was supposed to talk about the Creative City Monitor, and I will. But when I was preparing my presentation, I could not resist to put this into the larger perspective and to give you at the beginning a little bit bigger picture. And I will start with obvious. When I joined the Commission, I deliberately decided, because there was an opening for a Director of Culture and Media in the Commission, and I wanted to go to this post because I thought that culture and creativity should, in European context, be more prominent. And I had the feeling that this is something which is totally missing. And we are very, very technocratic, very, I would say, economically driven, but we are not seeing what is actually the fabric of the society, which is very important. So then I was very happy to get this post. And just, what was our thinking? And it was fantastic coincidence that my boss and also my other colleagues were of the same tune, and we were very well synchronized. So then let me start with obvious. The cultural and creative sector and its cultural impact is extremely important, but also its economic impact is extremely important. And can you imagine that nobody was thinking at the level of EU before about the economic impact? And we were the first to bring the study which was demonstrating this high impact of GDP, which is much higher than automotive industry, which is the flagship of European Union. And we were able to bring this up to the Council of Ministers of Finance, and they were shocked how the cultural and creative sector is important in Europe. And obviously there is another dimension, which is the social impact, and I think that the mayor was talking about that how the Veszprém 2023 was important from that point of view. So here we are with this, Charles, with this creative bureaucracy. So then I came to the Commission, and I was starting in 2006, and I was starting to talk about EU cultural policy. And each time I mentioned EU cultural policy, I was shut down, and they were telling me, no, this is forbidden word. You can't talk about EU cultural policy because this is only member states dealing with the culture. And at the EU level, we can't talk about cultural policy. But, we insisted and we say, there is no interference with what the member states are doing. We are not going to appoint the director of opera in Budapest, but there is a dimension, European dimension to culture, and we should have some policy guidelines for that. And then it happened that in 2007, after quite a significant struggle inside the institution, because it was shocking for Commission to have such a policy document, this policy document was adopted by the Commission. So we were relieved. Okay, after this struggle, we got it. But you know what happened? Day after, Bundesrat voted the resolution against this policy document. And Bundesrat is extremely powerful German organization, which is representing all lenders, because in Germany, the culture is responsibility of lenders. So then we had another struggle ahead of us. So then I went to Munich, and I met all directors generals of all lenders, and the president of this KMK, very famous cultural commission, was headed by fantastic person, Tony Schmidt, and we became friends with Tony Schmidt. And then after maybe 8-hour meeting and debate with all directors general, they were very negative at the beginning, but we ended this meeting as the best friends, in spite of the fact that I do not speak German, and we were struggling with in English. And actually, I became honorary first ambassadors of lenders in Brussels. And we met twice a year on regular basis. And when the Council of Ministers was voting and deciding on this, the Federal Minister of Culture of Germany came, but also the Bavarian Minister of Culture came, and they were all saying, we are all heartedly supporting this because we understand that this is important. And then what happened, that the Council, EU Council, since 2008 is having the program. And you know, how this creative bureaucracy is influencing the future. I will demonstrate it very briefly. There were several new policy initiatives at the level of culture. And we were, with my colleagues, writing the legislation of ECOC, which was actually, you were following when Veszprém was selected. But that was not the only thing. You can see European prizes, European heritage label, European framework for actions on cultural heritage, urban agenda for the EU, the partnership on culture and cultural heritage, and European urban initiatives. So it looked like pure policy bureaucracy, but this is translated to money. When we started, the culture program was worth 400 million. Now, in this period, it's 2.4 billion. And you should be proud of your compatriot, Tibor Navracic, because what we did back before he became a commissioner responsible also for culture, we were able to increase the budget to roughly 1 billion for culture, or a little bit more than 1 billion. And Tibor Navracic was able to get this amount for culture program, 2.4, and you should be proud of him. But there is also something else, because when you start, when you show, when you spread the word, so this is what was happening. The cohesion funds, 5 billion, additional 5 billion in cohesion funds, 400 additional millions for Interreg program. And very recently, you are probably familiar with this new instrument, post-COVID instrument of European Union, which is Resilience and Recovery Facility. And you will see that 11.7 billion is invested through this facility into the culture. And this is all because we have cultural policy. So this is very important. You know, this creative bureaucracy, this, I would say, the courage to go and explore unusual things is very important. Let's go to Cultural and Creative Monitor, because we were thinking that there is a need to give also some instruments. And this is not primarily for ranking the cities. This is for helping the cities, helping the mayor. And I was extremely happy that the mayor told me in the morning that he himself used this monitor to create the cultural vision of Veszprém. We selected because we had to select certain number of cities because the data is not readily available for all thousands of European cities. So we selected 190 cities to be included in this monitor. It's European Capital of Cultures, UNESCO Creative Cities, and city hosting at least 2 international cultural festivals. So altogether 190 festivals. And we were working, actually, I moved from culture to scientific service of European Commission, which is a big house supporting the Commission's decision by the scientific evidence. And I had the privilege to work with the world's best team of data crunchers. And these fantastic people were working on this with a group of experts from all Europe and worldwide on the criteria of this Culture and Creative Monitor. And you see three main typology of criteria we were selecting: this cultural vibrancy, enabling environment, and creative economy. It's very close to what you, Charles, explained in your presentation, but it is defined in slightly different way. So these are the criteria, and this is the ranking. And we immediately understood that it's impossible to have the one ranking, because you cannot compare Paris with Veszprém. So because that would be stupid. So then we decided to rank the cities according to the sizes of the city. So 50 to 250,000, 250 to 500,000, 500 to 1 million, and over 1 million. And you see different rankings. But I repeat, this is not the most important. This is just to make it more interesting for the journalists, for policymakers, a little bit to give the flavor of ranking. But this was not important. There is even the opening for the cities which are not covered by these 190 cities, because if you are the city not among those 190, you can upload your data and to see and compare how you compare with other cities in all those rankings. And then what we did also a small exercise. What is the ideal cultural and creative city in Europe? And that would be the combination of Paris, Florence, Weimar, Eindhoven, Budapest, Glasgow, and Copenhagen. And if you mix all these cities together, you will get the ideal cultural and creative city. And that's, again, it's funny, but it's very good. It's very good tool to see what are the best features and how far you rank in your own city, and where you can invest if you want to move in that direction. And this is, we clustered this cultural and creative city data into 4 regions of Europe, and you see that Southern Europe and Eastern Europe is lagging behind the Northern Europe and Western Europe. And this is not because the culture is poorer in Southern Europe or Eastern Europe. This is because we do not invest. We are not building enough on this fantastic potential we have in Central and Eastern Europe and in Southern Europe. And you know, the Southern Europe is extremely rich of cultural heritage. There are plenty of UNESCO sites, but it shows that this is not used in a with a full potential. And I think that this is something which is a great opportunity, and I'm very happy to be here in Veszprém, because you understood this. And you use the 2023 Capital of Culture in that respect. And by the way, all what I heard about the Capital of Culture of your project, it was extremely positive feedback. So this is something which can somehow help us to boost our focus on culture and creativity in our cities. And if you need some additional convincing and additional facts for those who are extremely rational and economically and financially driven, you can show them this graph showing how important is culture and creativity also for the GDP of the city, and you see this perfect correlation. And we even found that during the crisis, and we had several crises in the past 2 decades in Europe, economic crisis, but this was also the COVID. The cultural and creative cities, the high-ranking cities, are the most resistant and most resilient towards the economic downturn. And there is quite an important increase of the jobs created in those cities. So these are all facts which can be used to persuade those who do not really believe in culture and are a little bit of hesitant and still believe that culture is this cherry on the cake and not actually the cake itself. Well, just to conclude, I will repeat that the cultural and creative sector is an essential fabric of our society. If we break this fabric, so we disintegrate our society. And with all challenges, Charles mentioned artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence in 10 years has a potential to totally revolutionize society. And if we do not have this fabric, and the culture and creativity will be even more important in the future, where many jobs will be taken over and we will be manipulated, potentially we are already manipulated, that's why we are so polarized by artificial intelligence. So it will be even more important. So investing now is really investing in the future because we do not have that much time. And this fabric, this cultural fabric is absolutely crucial for survival of the society as we know it and as we want to have it, as we want to preserve our values. So societal, social cohesion, that's why it is on the first, in the first bullet. Obviously, economic development, talent development, innovation. I think that Charles explained this extremely well. And cities serve as a vital ecosystem for this. So the cities are the most important actor in this respect. And obviously, I will finalize my presentation that explore all what on the top of all national and international tools, look closely to what the European Union is offering, and it's offering quite a lot on the policy, on financial, but also on this exchange of the good practice. And this monitor, which I mentioned, is one instrument to demonstrate how this good practice, how we can learn exactly what you said, Mayor, that we need to not be closed in the box in our small region, but we should be open up to rest of Europe, rest of the world, and to learn and also to give our experience and to bring the new experience from outside. So many thanks for inviting me and having this opportunity to look into my past, but into something which I always believe, and whatever position I'm in, I'm really advocating for culture and creative sector because I still think that it is largely under-evaluated and undervalued. So many thanks and all the best to this conference.